So Savage Love, beginning of Savage Love. All right, welcome everybody. We've got two special guests today. We have Dr. Khang D, Doctor of Physical Therapy, and we've got guests you've seen before, Peter Huynh over here. It's the dream team. We've got 90% of PostureCamp in the house. Just say what's up, guys. Introduce yourself at your own leisure to the audience.
What's up, everybody? My name is Khang. Just recently graduated from physical therapy school back in August. Well, back in May. Got my license in August and been working ever since. And that's about it. Yeah.
That's about it. Well, we're gonna dig deeper into that in a little bit. And Peter, just introduce yourself real quick, even though the audience kind of knows who you are.
Yeah, man, I'm Peter. I like to meet people and I don't know and make shit happen. And yeah, I'm a caveman. What's up, bros?
All right, so we got a caveman in the house, and King kind of looks more like a caveman with his hair. Little do you guys know, I had my hair like that not too long ago, the COVID hair. You know, I think.
Oh, okay.
Everybody.
No, I was growing this out before COVID though.
Oh,
so,
were you? Okay,
I mean,
so you were ahead of the times, really.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Well, hey man, let me I don't prepare for these things at all. I kind of just wing it, so I don't have a list of questions prepared. Sometimes that could be a horrible thing, but for me, that's just the way things go today. Khang, I don't know if how much you really know about the show, but my whole basis for the show is 37-year-old man thinks he might have Asperger's or autism, and he decided to make a podcast. So the whole impetus behind the show is a little bit random and doesn't make sense. So anyways, I wanted to talk to you about your hair because I was stalking you on Facebook, really good, looking at your
you were?
Yeah,
I
was looking at your pictures, man, and we not that we have exact same background, but we in certain ways we followed you used to be a lot more jacked, and you shared that story with me, we both kind of ditched strength training and more functional. You definitely went deeper, and you went to school for it, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the hair, right?
All right. Let's talk about it.
You used to have just Asian haircut, buzzed or spiky or whatever, and now
you got an undercut. Yeah.
So now you're here. I'm more interested in that story right now. Let's lead with that story. How's your hair evolved over the years, and more importantly, why?
I mean, honestly, when I was growing up, that's all I had, buzz cut and really short haircut. And, I grew it out a little bit in junior high, but I don't know, I guess under the pressure of my parents, they just cut it off and all right, I'll cut it off. And now, I'm starting to discover things on my own a little bit. And then I figure heck, man, I want long hair. Why not just grow it out? It's for guys, long hair is not usually a path that guys usually explore.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a value. It's not a value. It's just something that I want to try to see what it looks like. And honestly, after a few months of growing out my hair, I was like, hey, I like the look. I think there's a lot of style that can be done with it. As opposed to a buzz cut or an undercut. It's just one go. You can't really do anything else with it.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, man, that I knew there was a meaningful story behind that. There, I'm hearing there's a few reasons, it's just you never had the option because the parents would always cut it off. So there's a little bit of the rebellious nature, and then you actually found out you liked it. And I think you even mentioned this, just the possibilities, right? My hair is kind of short right now, but when it was longer, it was I could slick it back, I could part it, I could still spike it up if I wanted to.
There's a lot of style you can do with it.
Yeah, so it's cool. And last but not least, now is the age of K-pop. Everybody wants to look like a Korean pop star. You know what I mean?
I'll be really honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't mean to look like a K-pop star, but a lot of people told me that I'm starting to grow it out. Because at first, when I started growing my hair, I started to look like Peter Parker from Spider-Man 3. I have that hair. People told me I look like that, and then people told me I look like Justin Bieber, and now it's K-pop or I think when my hair grow out to my shoulder, that's probably people told me like I have metal hair or something. But no, I didn't intend to look like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I just grow it out and take care of it as best as I could.
yeah.
Because honestly, like I feel like I don't know. I feel like for some reason the hair on your head was it 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 was meant to be. Like it. I never feel right cutting it off. To be honest with you, like
I know
I
exactly how
mean
you
that's
I
just
know
my point of
exactly
view.
how you feel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that's just my point of view.
yeah.
Like yeah, I mean in this age and age, like guys with like buzz cut, short haircuts is considered to be more masculine or like more professional. But for me, like hair, a hair is part of yourself. I feel like you should embrace it and take care of it. And
I like that, man.
I
Yeah.
mean,
I can
yeah.
relate. I mean, it's nice hearing that, but you almost don't even have to explain it to me. Like I've gone through that stage. I might go through that stage once a year. I go through my hair evolves once a year. I'll grow it out, cut it off short, grow it out again. Um, like I'm hearing like, yeah, you kind of, we experience like similar emotions in a way, in that like I'm sitting here trying to do like a professional podcast without a shirt on, and it's not, and I'm not completely ignorant to the fact that like, hey man, if you want to have a more professional podcast, maybe you want to put on a shirt. For me, there's a deeper meaning behind that as well, where I don't know if I've explained this to either of you guys. Like my first career out of college was real estate, commercial real estate, and then so as a 23-year-old, for the next 5 or 6 years of my life, I was putting on a suit and tie every day of my life, and I'm really one of the, well, I think I actually do have this Asperger's autism condition. So for me, like in my mind has always been very practical. So when things are not practical, I'm like, I always have to just like think about, I'm like, what is, like, for my whole life, I'm like, what is the meaning of a tie? Like I don't like it, just the decoration. I ended up getting really good at tying a Windsor knot. Like when I do something, I try to specialize in it, and then I kind of try to enjoy it in a way. Like I would go and I would shop for ties, and I still have like a plethora of ties in my closet, because these are like, even though man, like 10 years ago I said I will never wear a tie again. Not the same as you like growing your hair out, but it's almost like I was forced to do something for so long for a reason I couldn't even, like, it didn't make sense to me. Like it made sense to me, but I didn't want to do it. I felt like it was so superficial. I'm like, what? You're not gonna respect me if I don't wear a tie? And anyways, so I still have the ties in my closet, in the sense that like it's like artwork for me. Like I bought them because I thought they looked pretty, right? And I kind of ended up enjoying it in a way. Like I would match my ties to my clothes, but the whole having to wear a mask, so to speak, at work every day, like I had to pretend to be this guy, wear the suit and tie, and it's like I'm not going to get respected if I don't wear the right suit or tie. And now you see me now kind of being the real me, whether I'm growing out my hair long, like that's who I want to be, or whether I shave it all off, that's who I want to be. I want to wear a shirt, want to wear a shirt, don't want to wear a shirt, tie, no tie. This is it me not wearing a shirt? It's because I'm comfortable. Like I just roll around in my boxers at home, or I'm just wearing some sweatpants. I don't wear a shirt ever inside the house. Only when I have to go outside. Even if I'm going outside, I don't have to wear a shirt. Like if I'm going to the store, I'll wear it, right? It's by law, or they'll kick you out. I don't want to cause trouble, right? But it's as much I'm comfortable, and this is, like it is a lot like PTSD. Like I don't want to be forced to do something just for the audience anymore, kind of thing. It's me rebelling against society in a way. On the other hand, this is just like my natural state of being. Like I kind of just want to be like, well, this is me at home. Other people get to work from home and they go on Zoom, whatever they're wearing. Well, this is what I was already wearing. It's not like I'm taking off the shirt for camera. It's just like maybe if I was really out of shape and fat, like I used to be, like I wouldn't be doing this, because like, I'm like, well, I'm still kind of like embarrassed and ashamed of how I look. But other than that, this is my natural state of being. On top of that, I am making a statement that like, hey man, this is my show. I'm going to run my show the way I want it finally in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, no more suit and tie, no more putting on the monkey suit and doing the monkey dance because I'm trying to get your business. You know, I'm done with
Yeah.
all of that. So in that sense, I relate a lot to, you know, where you're coming from, and you just wanting finally, you know, no, mom and dad, I'm not gonna cut my hair how you want it. I'm gonna explore, you know, my own style now, and you know what? Fuck what everyone else thinks. Long hair is for girls. Fuck you guys. I think this is artistic. I'm gonna do it my own way. And I'm glad I asked you because, you know, some things there's a deep story behind it. Maybe some things there aren't, but those are the kind of stories that like I like to ask people about if we're trying to get to know each other, you know.
Yeah, I find like once you start to kind of like think for yourself and like figure out what worked best for you, you start to develop more confidence and actually like, you know,
Confidence
I
up.
mean, for me as a therapist, here's the thing about me as a therapist. Like, I like to have confidence in what I'm telling patient, and also know exactly that it works,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, for me, like, you know, anybody, you do realize that being physical therapist is just boils down to you. I don't know. You go get your bachelor, and then you take a bunch of class, and like, you know, get some shadowing done, and then you
Mm-hmm.
get accepted to PT school, and then you just literally just sit 8 hours a day in the class, looking through PowerPoint, and like learn here and there, and then you take a test. It's literally just like college, but on like a more extreme scale.
Mm-hmm.
And then after
Okay.
that, you come out with a degree, and there you go. You're a physical therapist. You get a degree. You pass these bunch of tests,
Yeah.
but literally it's literally college to a higher degree.
Yeah.
So when you're treating patient,
Uh-huh.
like how realistic are those, like, you know, how realistic are the thing you learn in school? How realistic is that? How can you apply it to a real person that's sitting right in front of you?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing I realized is that 90% of my work as a physical therapist
Mm-hmm.
is more about people skill. Like the stuff in school, yeah, sure, you know,
Whatever.
whatever.
Amazing
Yeah,
insight. Yeah.
you can spout like a bunch of textbook nonsense to the textbook into your patient, and they're like, okay, I don't know what you're trying to do, or I don't know what I don't know what you're getting at,
It's
you know.
crazy. That's
So
crazy, man. So, well, let me kind of springboard off that idea that you just said. So, did you have those social skills, or did you have experiences in school, in clubs, or were you kind of like surprised and be like, wow, and you kind of learned most of these things on the job as you go, or a little bit of both?
I kind of like developed more social skill when I was in PT school,
Mm-hmm.
and also I developed the skill also on the job in my clinical rotation. Um, because honestly, like, I feel more confidence as my physical therapy skill because I actually do it um, daily. Like, I actually stretch daily and actually try to work out daily
Mm-hmm.
too. So I kind of like gauge on how the human body works.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not just a physical therapist that went through school and like just, you know, drag into the job and go through the daily routine. You know, I actually do it, and I actually like, you know, try to learn how the human body actually work, rather
Mm-hmm.
than just, it it's a lot simpler, I feel like, than it is. I mean, to me, my degree is just, the my degree is just literally certifying that I've been through,
Mm-hmm.
8 hours of class for 3 years, and,
Yeah, well,
just learn a
you're
bunch of
being
technical
a
stuff.
little humble there.
Yeah,
That's not the
yeah.
easiest thing to do for a human to sit through that many years of school. But no, keep going. Yeah.
Um, I mean, yeah, no, I
Yeah.
mean that's really about it.
Yeah.
That's like, because I practice the lifestyle for myself. I'm able
Mm-hmm.
to have more confidence when I teach
Okay.
patients these things,
Gotcha.
because I know they actually work because I've done it myself.
Well,
You
let me
know.
ask you, like, okay, so interesting because I know very little about like your industry per se. I don't. It's not like I'm going around meeting therapists all day long. So it's very
Right.
interesting for me actually to hear some of this stuff. So you say this in a way to where like there are, and obviously you're not going to name names, but you say this in a way where like you see other therapists who kind of don't walk the walk because you're saying, well, I'm a therapist and I'm actually one, and you kind of like downplay your schooling, which we all know that that's actually an important part, but you're kind of saying like I'm a therapist, I practice this daily, I actually walk the walk. Are you saying there's like a significant portion of people that went to school and even are doing this that just like kind of like they just kind of teach it, but they're not actively practicing it themselves?
Oh yeah, I mean,
I
a
mean,
few
I
of
guess
my
that's
colleagues.
for everything, right?
Yeah, that's for everything. A few of my colleagues are, I get a feeling that they're just going through the motion at work.
Mm.
I'm not gonna name a name, but
Yeah, yeah.
I know a few colleagues that just said, dude, this stuff is really boring. I can't believe I'm doing
Damn.
this for the next like 20 years.
Fuck.
And then I'm just like, I mean, you're just going through the motion.
Like
You gotta.
is there a time in school, like in maybe the first year, where they can like prepare you for what you're getting into? Like, why do you have to, like, if like I don't look down on that. I feel sorry for them. That like they kind of have no other choice. They invested so much money and so much time and so much resources, and then and this is a lot I hear from lawyers actually, but I never hear it from like doctors or therapists.
It. I mean, it's because I feel like a lot of them want to. I feel like a lot of them like they feel the ego. They go to their school and get their doctorate degree and like their PhD, whatever, and they want to sound important. But
Mm.
honestly, I've been being through the um no no the all the bureaucracy. The only thing I can just say it is, for now my degree I just it's basically I pay like 150K dollar for that degree,
Yeah,
and
Whoa.
now
I
I'm
mean,
trying to find back. Yeah.
like it's I'm
Oh
glad
Don't
my
get
you.
me
God.
wrong.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I learned a lot, and I like my job. I like helping people to become, improve their quality of life. But
A lot of money.
I'm just trying to say that,
No, I
like,
appreciate that because
yeah,
I feel I can only say like my own experience in the
mm,
topics I learned, but um I kind of had a feeling it's similar with like everything you learn more by on the job. Not to say that you shouldn't go to school, because obviously like you'll learn some important shit that will save you in the future, like
hmm
like you're not going to injure somebody because some shit that you learned in school, obviously. So um but no, I feel like that with I mean I always kind of say it more jokingly, but I am serious mostly when I say like the knowledge and like the what benefited me in school was learning discipline and the people skills and just managing my emotions, and but none of the actual knowledge. I'm not like pulling from my economics or my philosophy course and applying it to daily life at all. It's like the actual knowledge was just like fuck, I could have been reading bedtime stories really for all. It was more just it was more like a professional daycare, a place to allow me to mature, make sure I don't do dumb shit for 4 years.
yeah, exactly. And 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 I mean, I don't mean to like downplay the whole physical therapy
Yeah,
schooling because
yeah,
education is still important.
yeah.
I feel like education and you you get education so you don't sound like a dumbass when you
Yeah.
talk to people, right? So,
Yeah, but that doesn't
um,
ensure you're not going to still sound like a dumbass some.
no,
Yeah.
it really does not because
Yeah.
um, I mean, how do I say this? I feel like it's much more important for any profession, honestly, especially in the healthcare field, to learn about more people skill and learn
Mm.
about confidence and how to project your body image rather than
That's fucking crazy, man.
that
Yeah.
for me that is more important than the stuff that I learned in school. Yeah, the stuff in theory I
Oh
learned in
my God.
school, blah 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 of human body. Here's the reason why I say that.
Hmm.
Why I say that though, because like science, it's very you science like there's like a whole bunch of article that come out that say like for example how to build muscle, right? Like
Yeah.
the whole bunch that's like a whole bunch of article that say like you should do 8 to 12 reps, and there's an
Yeah.
article that you should like do 6 to 8 reps,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah.
which is there a is there a specific rep I should do it that then, because like there's a bunch of article that contradicts each other.
Yeah,
So then
yeah.
what should be the standard? How do we build muscle, right? But for me, it's like for some people you have to experience for yourself because everybody's different.
Of course.
For
yeah.
me, I feel like the most simplest thing, because I've done this myself, for you to build muscle or whatever, it's just see like how many reps you can do at your own pace at a good form. Like if you can do 6 at a good form, maybe it's easy. Maybe do 8 next time. Like if you can do a good form, okay, maybe increase the weight. For me, there's really no set numbers. It all depends on you and like what your body is telling you, what your eyes is telling you, and what your mind is telling you. I rely on my instinct more than a lot of my schooling that I got.
That's crazy to hear, man. And on that note, I'm 37 years old, and even now I mean, I haven't been to the gym since COVID, so it's been at least 6 or 7 months. I've picked up a serious weight, but I have this big tractor tire that weighs over 500 pounds. By the way, both of you guys are welcome to come by anytime and flip this tractor tire with me.
Oh yeah,
Dude,
Oh.
please, when, man? Oh.
Anytime, man. It is the best workout ever because like lifting a 500-pound thing, and it's you have leverage when you're lift, but the thing literally weighs over 500 pounds. Like you might die. It's like not the safest thing, but so you have leverage when you're lifting it, and it gets easier because you get better leverage as you get it up. So it just at
that's
the bottom,
crazy, dude.
Yeah, but it's like if you could think about like the movements that you go through, and these are like actual movements that you might do in real life, and your body's in the good position. Even like squat and deadlift and bench press, your body's never really in these positions. You know what I'm saying? But like, hey, you might find yourself in a position where one day you might have to lift a tractor tire off somebody. So this is actually like, but you start from a deep squat deadlift position, right? And so your whole body's engaged, all right? Your core's engaged, and then getting it off the ground is the most force. But the force gets lighter and lighter, so it's actually kind of a relatively safe activity once you get it off the ground. And then as the angles change, I don't even want to know what the force is doing. But the thing is, it's like easier. If for some reason, like the neurological thing, you're doing one thing, you're flipping the tire over, versus like when you're doing a squat, you're thinking all these different things. So in your brain, it's just hard. Your shoulder, your back, your ass, your legs, your knees, like for some reason, dude, the flipping this tire is like the best exercise I've ever. And then once you get it here, then it's a chest exercise, and you can get your shoulders in there, and then you push it. Best full body exercise. Like, man, I can't believe I wasn't flipping tires before. Granted, you might be wondering, how did you get a 500-pound tractor tire?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
I don't know how much these things would cost if you had to buy them. Probably expensive. And how would you? And the shipping cost. Don't even get me started on the shipping cost. I don't even want to know. Okay, but there was one in the we just moved into a new apartment. And then in the property manager, we know the property manager. We've been here for 7 years. We just moved from a 1-bedroom to a 2-bedroom. So we just moved in the same complex, bigger apartment. But the people that moved out, in their garage was this big tractor tire. I don't know them, so I can't ask them what, but there was. So the property manager, he was like, "Hey man, can you help me roll this out to the street where I want to throw it away?" And then so as I was helping him roll it out, I'm like, "Wait, you're going to throw this away?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Is it possible I keep this and just leave it on the side of the property?" He was like, "All right, sure." He was like, "Why?" I was like, "I think I could work out with this." And I'm so glad I kept it, Khang. You got to come over and just
I probably need guests on my strength bag, yo. Like I've been doing too much mobility, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. You guys will fall in love with this thing. Like for me, like 4 or 5 flips, you go one way, and then and that's the driveway. And we have a lot of space too. I'm lucky to have this big apartment property that like nobody's ever here, and a big driveway. So like 4 or 5 flips, and it's already down the whole driveway. And then I got to take a break. 4 or 5
Holy stuff.
4 or 5 flips the other way, and I'm done, man. Like I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna overwork myself. I'm gonna work up. I mean, yeah, you could kill yourself and go all day long, but man, it's a different story. Like I almost like, yeah, like we got to put this in the program somehow. Like this is tire flipping for real.
Um, do you mean into the partial program?
Yeah, just
Oh,
in
yeah, it could probably work.
I mean
Yeah.
like in the no, I'm not gonna like start them out here, you know, but in the like you know how our vision is to like we lead with posture always, right? But eventually, you know, we want to be maybe a competitor to CrossFit and some other small boutique options,
Hmm.
right?
Okay.
So we lead with posture, but eventually this can be like a sprawling fitness organization. Um, I mean, I always think big, man. I want to be like the CrossFit killer. Like this is
Oh yeah,
like
baby.
like
Let's go,
po-
baby.
like in my mind, the final vision is kind of like what CrossFit was supposed to be. You know, CrossFit had a lot of potential, but I don't I see I did CrossFit for a few months and I'm really big fan of it. I never got injured myself, you know, but I always knew that that was the big quote unquote knock on CrossFit. And here's the thing, like CrossFit in essence won't allow you to get injured. It's that like they just grew so big so fast and the quality of it got diluted that there were some maybe bad coaches and because they didn't give a fuck they say well if you can pay the $300 a year licensing fee bro open up a CrossFit next to the other CrossFit fine and you can see easily how you know if you're doing a let's just say squat right if you're doing a squat oh see the thing with CrossFit is that like what is their goal really like what is the end goal is to get fit and lose weight right so they can give you that goal right through their programming right they can say well yeah anybody does 1,000 squats they're gonna fucking lose weight right but if you think about if you're doing 1,000 squats with bad form and bad posture like something might break eventually right you may do this and nothing will ever break right but the like you know Kang you and I know what the FMS is our audience won't functional movement screen but the FMS is a 7 movement screen where anyone any personal trainer or therapist doing this screen will immediately know what is potential to break in your body, right? If you have some
Hmm.
instability doing a plank, well, we might not want you to be doing squats if you can't like lift your arm off the ground, or if you're squatting and we see some shakiness. We're like, whoa, this guy's got some shit wrong somewhere in his chain. We're gonna want to fix that first before we do any type of loaded movement, right? Now,
Hmm.
CrossFit, they don't do any kind of screen. Like, yeah, a good coach is going to focus on form and posture, but just because it looks like you're doing the squat right, and I'm speaking from experience, man, I could show you a perfect squat, but I myself know that, like, I'm not breathing right or I'm not tightening my core the right way because now I know what I'm doing it right. Like I can fake it and I can show you a perfect squat, I can show you a perfect deadlift, I can show you a perfect bench press, but if I'm not breathing right, if I'm not bracing right, it's not a right squat. It's not a right bench press. Okay? And if you're doing 1,000 of those repetitions, like it's high risk of injury. And that's why people did get injured doing CrossFit. And I think that's where they lost the potential in what they could have been. And now it's unsalvageable. It is
Hey,
unsalvageable.
Omar.
Yeah.
I just Googled the rate of injuries for CrossFit,
Yeah.
and it's not the worst. Like I think here it says here that they got 2 to 3.5 injuries per 1,000 hours of training. And it says here lower than more traditional forms of training. So I mean, like I see where you're going with this, but the stat for it is that
Yeah, and I'm not sitting here knocking CrossFit. What I am saying is I think we can do a lot better than 3.5%. I think we
okay.
can aim for 0%. The whole
Damn.
the whole point of Posture Camp
Mm.
is to aim for 0% injury. Like, look, if
Damn.
we go from 3% to 1.5%, like
Yeah.
we're 100%. We double, tripled what they're doing. So
Mm,
yeah, like what they're doing is better than all you're saying to me is what they're doing is better than what people are doing on their own, right? People are gonna
mm,
injure themselves on their own if they're
mm,
training with a coach. Hopefully that's
mm,
better than what they're doing on their own, and hopefully what we aim to do with Posture Camp can far be better than 3.5% per 1,000 hours.
mm.
You know that three. You know what? That doesn't even impress me, man. 3.5% per 1,000 hours means like you're getting injured once a year. I even think that's too much. Okay.
So what kind of workout do you envision PostureCamp to kind of have? Just a little bit curious.
Why?
Um,
I mean, it's an easy question for me to answer because I have athletic training background. I used to work at a gym that trained professional athletes. So I can easily train an athlete and give any athlete the best workout they've ever experienced. Maybe even with just their own body weight, and I have a fucking tire. No one can compete with that. I'm kidding. But no, so I know how to take an athlete to his limit, and I know how to, and you don't want to break an athlete. Like a lot of these athletes will go through the program no sweat broken. So for athletes you're constantly changing the program. For regular people you don't have to change the program that much. You know, when people adapt you can change the program. But let me give you a rundown of the overview since you asked. Like let's say posture aside, let's say I'm taking someone that doesn't have any functional issues, but everybody will. So here's a program from start to finish, right? You come in the gym, and like the workout will be an hour. So, but before the hour starts, you have everyone doing their personal correctives, right? Like some people might need to roll out their chest more than so I would say everyone has their personal correctives that before class starts, you do your kind of personal stuff. Like I might have lower back stuff. This guy might have hamstring. This guy might have glutes. So in that sense, you want to personalize it a little bit. Even if you're in a classroom setting, they can do. So you start with your personal correctives, all right, and even warm up, right? I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to working out. Even like after I left the gym, I tried to learn more. But you know, even this is most of the stuff I learned from the gym. Like even like warm ups, we just think warm up is warm up, right? Like before I got my professional gym experience, I would think that. Hey, did Peter just leave?
No, wait, sorry. Am I? Wait,
You
I'm
fucked
here.
up. You fucked up my screen.
Oh, dude, wow. My bad. Sorry.
can
Okay,
y'all
now,
still see me?
uh, man, I don't know. Why did you do that, Peter? I have to,
Yeah, sorry, dude.
no, forget it. Man, you guys, you switched
Should I?
this. Whatever. You guys are just gonna be sideways for now. I don't want to fix it. I
Wait,
just
wait.
want to.
Let me.
No, you
Should I
can't.
just?
No, you can't do anything right now. I have to fix it on my screen. Just stay put.
Oh,
Anyways,
okay.
so I'm gonna explain to King the program that I have in mind because it's just like I don't want to say I copied, but like the model is good. It's just sports performance training, dumbed down for the normal person. Like you can't
Mm.
put a normal person through what an athlete does, but you can lower the volume, lower the intensity, and that they're still getting the benefits of our knowledge, right? So let's talk about warm up. I focus a lot on warm up because when I was just a meathead and I thought warm up was, oh, just get on the stair stepper for 10, 15 minutes warm up. I mean, for most people, that's enough, right? But even warm up, we break it down into 3 stages, right? We have the general warm up, the dynamic warm up, and the specific warm up. And the warm up will be about anywhere 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how fast they move through it. So you can even tailor the warm up. Like once they move through it fast, it'll get done in 5 minutes. But the first time they do the warm up, it'll take 15 minutes. All right. The general warm up is what we're all familiar with. It's like, okay, we're just getting the heart pumping. You know, we're just light jog, do some karaoke's, whatever. I don't want to get into the details, but the general warm up is just stuff that you're used to, getting the heart rate up. And then if it's like a upper body day, you're gonna do maybe more upper body stuff. But this is just 2 to 3 minutes of general warm up stuff. Dynamic warm up is kind of like when you're doing like Frankenstein kicks, or you just hold the stretch for a brief moment. So you educate them that static stretching is not good if you're gonna do some kind of hard, intense movement. You don't want your muscles to be all stretchy and elastic. You just want to give it, just get the blood moving, let the muscle know, activate it a little bit, so then you do your dynamic warm-ups for 2 to 3 minutes. And then the specific warm-up is where you kind of up the intensity. Like if you're doing squats that day, your specific warm-up will be maybe some body weight squats. Maybe you go quarter squat, half squat, full squat. Maybe you do some jumps, where squat jumps. So the specific warm-up is where you really prime the body for whatever movement that you plan on doing later. So the warm-up, let's just say 10 minutes, right? And then in my programming, I'm a firm believer in core is done every day, okay? The bodybuilding strength training mentality is like, oh, abs are done once a week, twice a week, right? Because they're just training muscles to get bigger, right? But in the functional movement, in the posture camp, in the sports performance mentality, in the everyday life mentality, you're using your core every day. Okay, we're not trying to make our obliques like fucking huge. We're not bodybuilders, okay? So every day you get 5 minutes of core. And the goal is not to like kill your core. The goal is to just work your core every day. So it starts with 10 minutes of warm up, and the warm up is broken down into 3 stages. Then you have 5 minutes of core. And then after that, that's when the workout begins. You know, so let's say beginners take 15, 20 minutes to do the warm up. That's fine. Okay, and let's say they take 5 to 10 minutes to do their core because they just started that's fine. But the first 30 minutes aren't you haven't even lifted a weight yet. Okay, or maybe for core you take a med ball and you're throwing it against the wall. That's even more advanced movement, right? That's like even allowing someone to throw a med ball against the wall. I wouldn't even let them do that because that's a loaded power movement. You want to make sure that they know how to activate their core first. So I have like beginner cores movements, I have intermediate core movements, and then the expert core movements is like when you're like throwing shit against the wall, you're really using your core to generate power. That's what athletes want to do. But for like a toddler and a grandma, when they're doing core, it's just like holding plank positions, you know, and then like we could do planks forever. We could lift one arm up, lift one leg up, put some pressure on them. We can do partner movements where they're pulling on each other. We can make it fun however we want. But the thing is like beginners aren't going to be doing too much other than like your normal planks and different plank variations. And then when we actually do the programming, like that's when we can get creative and make up shit. And but the programming part, I think is easy. Based on who you're dealing with, but it's having the structure of saying you do your correctives first, then you do your warm up. You warm up the right way, and then you work your core every day, and then we go into the fun strength stuff, jumping, running, sprinting, but you teach people the right way so that, and I call it posture quote unquote camp, right? Because I'm here to improve people's lives. We're here to improve everybody's quality of life. So I want to teach them in a way that gives them the framework that if they ever leave PostureCamp, right, they're not addicted to us. They can take what they've learned and they can program themselves. They can go home and say, well, I'm going to do my own shit, but I'm going to start with correctives and I'm going to warm up and do this. And then I'm going to do my core every day. And then I'm going to hit the weights. That's kind of the knowledge that I want to impart on the rest of the world. This is a lot of knowledge that the sports performance world, they keep secret. They don't want to really, they're going to hate that I'm like, want to give this shit away for free. And maybe I had to think hard about how I wanted to break into the fitness world. Like this idea has been in my head for years, man. But like a lot of it is like, I want to give a lot of things away for free. Because, Kang, you were helping me come up with our mission statement, and we want to improve quality of life for people. And so we are going to give away a lot for free, not because we're horrible business people, but because I think we want to stay true to our mission and our vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll stop talking, man. I've been talking way too long.
The only thing I would add to that is, aside from the making the program, the warm-up component, I also probably want to emphasize the education, like the, fitness education, like how can people maintain, just try work out every day, and
oh man, yeah, absolutely.
I think personally for me, like I said, I think you can just, you can tell people stand up straight every day. You can tell people you need to work out every day, and then in the end, you're preaching to the choir because some people. This is sometimes fitness. I always tell a lot of my patients, this is just the physical therapy realms again. I always tell my patient, like, working out shouldn't be a chore. Working out like you're using your body every day, right? So you want to keep it maintained, healthy and strong, so you're able to do the work that you can do. So it shouldn't be a chore. But then. I don't know. I feel like one of the best way, and people like this a lot. I tell people, well, okay, let me ask you this question: do you need motivation to brush your teeth? Do you?
Well, sometimes my girlfriend has to remind me to, but
Yeah, but like,
no,
but in
I
general,
get what you mean. No,
do you, do you,
absolutely
do you,
not. You inherently know the benefit if you didn't have to experience it with the root canal, but like you kind of inherently just know that that's something you need to do. Yeah.
yeah. So one of my education that I do as a physical therapist, I try and instill that sense of responsibility into my patient when it comes to fitness. Is that you gotta at least move your body every day. And for some people, especially in America, with the obesity rate going up,
Mm-hmm.
people lost out of touch with that habit. Like they're basically not brushing their teeth, or stuff is their body.
Dang, bro. Hey, Peter, can you make a note? I'm going to use this brushing teeth example in our course in somewhere in lesson one.
Brushing your teeth. Okay,
Yeah,
brushing your teeth. Sure.
Ken,
Sure.
you actually reminded me. I don't know if it's because we were actually talking to each other about this, or it was me and Alan or Peter. Man, I haven't slept enough. I get things confused and time confused now. But I think it was me and Peter were talking about this because I'm thinking hard about lesson one because I was actually supposed to teach it today, but someone overslept.
Sorry.
But I had actually made the decision to and I'm glad you just reminded me, King. I was gonna put the mental thing in lesson one because I thought about it and exactly what you just said. If you don't like I can teach you everything about posture, right? But if you don't make it part of your consciousness and think about it every day, every time you breathe, every time you inhale, every time you exhale, every time you're sitting in your chair, like for me, like you'll see me like kind of do this because I told you, King, I still have like forward neck posture. I think is someone almost everybody experiences in their life, right? And I've been in a computer chair looking at a computer screen like almost my whole adult life since I've been in college, right? And so it's a hard thing to reverse. So you'll see me kind of do this every once in a while just to like kind of try to reverse it while I'm sitting down. And that actually, yes, I want to say this in lesson one, if not say it in every lesson, that like this is not just something you go to class and then you go home and you're gonna get better. No, you have to live and breathe this for it to work. You have to like how Buddhists chant daily. This is what it kind of has to be. You kind of have to like chant to yourself daily. Otherwise, because like, man, it really sucks that like, bad posture has become subconscious because the way you breathe, the way you walk, the way you sit, the way you stand, it's like subconscious now. Like you don't, like you're not walking down the street and going left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. Well, these days I am because I'll share with you. I have like one of my problems was little to zero glute activation. And maybe as a doctor, you know that the glutes are involved in almost everything you do. So you can kind of imagine like how bad it is for somebody that has zero glute activation. So I literally have to say left glute, right glute to myself when I walk. I'm not even joking around, man. And I'm very passionate about this stuff to where how am I going to like literally get somebody to go left glute, right glute without like that's what I have to tell them to do. Like I'm like, look, like I kind of joke and say, oh well, six packs are sexy, big like we are selling that. Like I can help a whole legion of girls grow their booties, right? But the thing, if they don't have glute activation, no amount of squats is gonna grow your ass if you're not using your ass when you're squatting. Right? So how am I going to teach you to activate your glutes? You literally have to chant to yourself every step you take until you learn this in your subconscious, man. And so and I mean, like I can overthink things, sometimes we just have to start doing it, but I'm like, how do we program this? How do we get people to actually improve? I don't sometimes
it like I said, it's building it into a habit. That's what. And I feel like should be one of our mission statement. Like that's kind of like different from other, fitness company, is that we're not just teaching fitness, but we're teaching you to build like a healthy habit, a healthy lifestyle, so that you can continue. Those you can tell, yeah, you can continue doing it for like pretty much the rest of your life, because like at some point when I wanna say, I think Omar, this, the state that I'm talking about because we've been talking about this since this whole podcast. But like, there's a state where after a while, while you work out, your body just automatically wants to work out because it know like if you don't work out for a day, you're gonna get weak, you're gonna get stiff, whatever. For me, that's for me right now. Like every time I try to do stretching, I try to do yoga every day, not because I'm motivated to, it's because my body literally tell me, dude, your body is pretty stiff, so maybe you should go out and stretch. And after I stretch, I return to my normal state, like of looseness, of like alertness. So
Yeah, man, I'm glad you brought that up because I had a important thing to say from that, and maybe I just lost it again. Shit. And I haven't smoked weed for like almost 3 months now. I should have no problem with my memory, but damn, what the fuck was I gonna say?
Notes, man. Take notes. Notes are important.
Notes are important.
Yeah.
But oh no, this is what it was. King, in strength training, right? You were saying like, yeah, like you kind of get addicted to working out in a way. Your body, like after you build it as a habit, and you know we've all heard this. It takes 4 to 6 weeks to build a habit, right? Once you start working out every day, and it becomes a habit, right? Then your body kind of misses it, and so that's the good part. Now where something like what we're doing, PostureCamp, or whatever you want to call it, functional training. You know, PostureCamp is just me trying to do my best to actually like spread functional fitness into the mainstream because, like, look, functional fit, like, you know, like it's been around as a like quote unquote fad for a while, but I think it failed to go mainstream. Even though like every fitness influencer knows functional training, the influencers aren't doing a very good job of spreading functional training. Like everyone's still like, oh, bench squat deadlift. No, it's beyond that. It's and no, I'm not giving them enough credit. A lot of them are doing a good job. My point is that like for whatever reason, people are still just focused on their strength. And maybe I can understand because it's like, okay, it's cool to see your bench press go up. It's cool to see your squat go up. But based off what you were saying, right? Like it's way too easy when your focus is on your strength to go into the gym and use that as your sole measure of if you're improving or not. And it's very easy to see your strength go down and to think that you're not and to think that you're regressing. You know what I'm saying? I want to try to get rid of that stigma. I want to try to destroy, you know, the focus on exactly how much you're lifting. Like, you know, like if you go squat for a year, right, and now you can squat let's say a girl, she can squat 200 pounds, right? And then once you hit a certain strength level, you get some kind of, I don't know what do I want to call it, but you get fearful of taking the weights off, right? But I need people to get comfortable with taking the weights off and relearning a pattern over and over again. Because even like I'm like posture expert over here. Every year I work out, I'll realize, well, shit, man, I was doing something, or like I realize a new thing that I wasn't activating, and it's like I have to relearn to walk all over again. I have to relearn to squat all over again. I have to relearn the deadlift, relearn the bench press with my new breathing method. Okay.
Wow.
And it really sucks having to take the weight down. Like I'm a guy, I used to hit 300 pounds plus on the bench in college, and I've never gotten back there. And sometimes I'll get close. Sometimes I'll start benching 275 again and hitting but then I'm like, well, fuck, dude, I wasn't activating my obliques. And then I've got comfortable with just taking the weights off back to the bar, putting 210s, putting 225s, and just relearning the pattern the right way. And so I want to get people comfortable with the fact that, like, hey, every few months we're going to take the weights off and relearn your pattern. You know, because of what you said, you know, we get addicted to the gym, and then we find reasons to go, right? And that reason is we're getting stronger. And then now we have a number to look at. Oh man, I get stronger, and this is how I measure I'm getting better. So I kind of want to like detach people from the strength part of working out and then measure them a different way. You know, I want to make it fun and game like, and I want to get people addicted to improving their posture. Like maybe we can have some simple way of measuring their posture every couple of months. Like, hey man, your posture actually got worse, so you're not allowed to lift heavy anymore, you know? Like we have some easy objective way. Maybe it's the FMS. Maybe we just all have to learn the FMS and learn how to apply it, and we give them an FMS once per quarter, like once every 4 months or something like that.
Yeah, I think that will be a really good screening tool, because I feel like if you have, because FMS is not just functional movement, it also measure a little bit of mobility and flexibility as well.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Because I
every
remember one
exercise-
of them is you reach and touch your toes, right? Yep.
Yeah, it's more than that. There's also a lunge component, which you
Okay.
need a lot of mobility and flexibility in order to maintain that, or get a perfect score in it. So they maintain a pretty good score. See, the thing is, chances are they have a pretty good score in FMS. You know, when you screen them, chances are their posture is going to be good.
Yeah. Hmm.
You know,
But I
because
mean, but couldn't someone score perfect and still have forward head posture, for example? Because there's nothing really measuring the head or the neck, so that's one that could go unnoticed in the FMS, right?
yeah, see, it is probably a possibility.
But no. But in essence, what you're saying is true, though. If they blow through the FMS, most likely they're an athlete. But even
Most
athletes actually have sometimes the worst scores as I've seen.
Right. So here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
So we do the FNF, but as I told you before, we also gotta use our eyes
Of course.
and our brain to look at that person. Like, let's say they get a perfect score, but you look at them and you actually see that actually have forward head,
Yeah.
and it's like, well, you might have score. So so if I see that, I'm thinking, well, this guy has pretty good mobility and flexibility. I think we just need to like help him with like the habit training now to like activate his muscle to maintain a good posture at all time. Because right now he has the strength and mobility and flexibility to pass to get a perfect in FNS, but his like postural awareness is not quite there yet. So we work on that aspect rather than the mobility or the flexibility.
And
You
then,
know, so-
and man, I'm just like bringing up random topics, but one thing is like, and I don't know if I want to say sad, but it's like, if you come to, because I used to deal with athletes, not always directly, because I was the general manager of the gym, so that, I mean, I did train some people, but I was more just kind of oversaw the gym, right? I would do the intake, I would kind of screen them, I would pass them off to a trainer if I needed to do a deeper screen. But that being said, like, the athletes come to you for a specific reason, to get better at their sport, to stay in shape. And so this is why I don't imagine we're going to get big into athletes, but I think the problem with an athlete is sometimes you have to strip them down to like sometimes they'll get worse at their sport before they can get better. Because if they're using an improper movement their whole life and they got powerful at that movement, but they have some inactive core or inactive glute, and it's like it's like hard to give them what they're trying to get. Is like they want to get better at their sport, but if you have to break them down to the basics, like they might have to relearn some of these movements, and they might not be as accurate or as powerful but I think for them long term it will be better, but maybe that season is shot. So you kind of, and this is only because I've dealt with athletes and their needs, right? So it's kind of when you're dealing specifically with an athlete, it's kind of a difficult situation. Now, general population, no big deal, right? They're not using these muscles at work every day in a fashion that they need, to score. Like if you change something in a basketball player, like he might start missing 3-pointers. You know what I mean? Like you start teaching him how to breathe differently, he might just completely miss his shot. So I'm not really there yet. Nor do I ever want to be. I don't. We're definitely targeting the average Joe. The person that sits in front of the computer all day. But I'm going off topic because these are just things that are on my mind that I do think about.
I mean, there's no reason that we cannot teach postural awareness to athletes too.
Yeah.
The only issue is that I don't have a lot of experience with athlete either, so I wouldn't know how to approach that. The only thing I would probably think about how to work with an athlete is like see what works for them, and just help to correct some of their movement or to prevent injury in the future. That's about it.
Okay.
For me, that will be it for me. I don't have sport PT experience, so can't say much about that.
Yeah, I mean,
know,
people
so
come to you for a specific reason, and then you can help cure that reason, and then what they do in their sport is their own business kind of deal, right?
right, yeah.
Yeah, I got you. But Peter, what do you Peter being the guy that had just like Peter is our CEO because he's very good at what he does at building companies, running businesses, making things happen. You know, he's the guy that makes all the relationships. But Peter probably doesn't have as much sports specific or fitness knowledge as we do. Peter, what I want to get your thoughts on if you were paying attention today, or if you can even still hear us. What kind of are your thoughts about what we talked about today?
Shit. Sorry, I'm kind of driving right now.
No, it's all good. Can you drive and
Uh,
talk?
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It sounds good. Like I think we're onto something. I was kind of excited earlier, but
Yeah,
I didn't want to interrupt you guys.
sure.
Shit. I lost my train of thought. Too.
So I was just asking you. I mean, did you were obviously already excited about our direction, but do you have any additional insight into what we're doing? Do you have any questions? Do you does
Yeah, so you talk about FMS. I didn't understand FMS.
Okay, the FMS is a privately licensed screen. It's more screen doesn't make so much sense as in like series of tests that a personal trainer or a physical therapist would put you through. They put you through different positions. One of them is like a modified squat. You know, one of them is like stretch and touch your toes. One of them kind of looks like a. One of them kind of looks like a what do you call it? A plank, like you do a bird dog. It just measures your body in different ways to kind of see, and from that screen or test, you score each position on a scale, and then you get a total score that kind of tells you where you're at and how bad your body is or how good your body is, and it gives a trainer or a therapist like kind of a relative idea of can this guy do physical activity? Would I want to let him go run and jump, or do we need to fix some things in his or her body before we let them do anything? At least that would be our purpose. For me, I think it's like I think everybody needs to go through one at least once a year. Even someone that has flown through, flying past it, I've said this to you before, right? From the moment we're born, we're fighting gravity. We're in a lifelong battle with gravity, and gravity always wins, right? So even if you pass it this year, gravity's still pulling you down on your computer while you sit. While you're driving your car, you're probably slouching like this and not sitting up like you should be, right? So gravity is always winning the battle. So just because you passed the FMS this year doesn't mean that you might do poorly the next year if you weren't actively, working out and working on your body the right way.
Yeah, I see. So this thing is this FMS test. They don't do this in like public schools, right?
They should, man. They really should.
So,
This should be done at every grade level, at every school. PE class should start with the FMS, man. This is kind of the movement that I want to do in society. At the end of this movement in 10 years, if we can see the FMS in every elementary school, man, we'll know that we have succeeded.
King, what are your thoughts on that, King?
I think it'll be a good idea because it's like, how do I say it? Like for me, when I was going through PE in junior high, it was really basic PE. We just run a mile or like we play distance sport. And the thing is, they didn't. They really expected us kids to run a mile, but they don't really train us for it. Like I was looking back PE in the 1960s in like US, they were really intensive. Like if you look at a PE over like at school in the 1960s, all of them kids were fit. Like I'm serious. Like, and this is just like your general like junior high or like high school PE too.
We've gotten soft, King. We need to go back to the 1960s. We're trying to take America back to the 1960s. That's what we're doing here.
But I mean, I'm just saying. Like I feel like the FMS will probably be a very good like screening tool for all grade level because like we need to teach kids who are not fit at an early age of what movement that your body should be capable of. You know, like some of these kids, they never done these movements before.
Mhm.
So at their life, they never really explored it, and you know, they just kind of stay the way they are. And I think that you know, the human body has so much more potential to explore. You know, well, that's just my opinion. So
That's great. That solidifies it. I think we need to like talk to like the Department of whatever health or something or secretary. Like who decides the curriculum for like a public school? We gotta get this in the
Man,
conversation.
and that's why
what we
you're the
need to do.
CEO, Peter. You think big and you think who we can reach out to. You're the one saying freaking
Yeah, yeah,
LeBron James should be our
yep.
first influencer. You're the one even thinking that we should
Oh,
reach
we're
out.
gonna get we're
Yeah.
gonna get LeBron. Eventually, we're gonna get LeBron. Just you wait and watch, man. Just you wait and watch.
And that's why I came up with the name PostureCamp because I did want it to be appealing for kids, and I don't think it's so much of a kid word that adults can't go to posture camp. I did in my mind, in my vision, I did see freaking little kids, toddlers, elementary, junior high, high school, going to posture camp for 6 weeks in the summer, learning some posture, and maybe that's all they need to be aware for the rest of their life. That's why I wanted to be at camp. It's not like posture for the rest. It actually is posture for the rest of your life. But if I call the company posture for the rest of your life, man, I don't think anyone's gonna go. And you know what? We're coming up on the hour. Do you guys have any closing remarks?
No, this was really informative. Yeah.
I kind of have a question
Yeah.
for you, Omar.
Sure.
I think I asked you this before. Like, did you self-diagnose yourself with autism, or like did you get it
I
officially
did,
diagnosed?
man. Just literally last week.
Oh, okay.
For 10 years, man, I've been on a very deep exploration of self-awareness and spirituality and personality, and I have a very a kind of like a nerdy interest in personality to where I've been banned from almost every personality forum that exists online because just so I don't know, I was just a natural troll, not even like on purpose, just like when and because I used to think I had bipolar and I still might, but I'm going to explore the whole autism Asperger's before I revisit the bipolar because there's a lot of overlapping symptoms. And I actually think I have both, if not one or the other. But a lot of the times, what gets me banned from the forums is it might be my bipolar. Like when I get in a manic mood, I just go troll online. And it's not even being mean. It's almost just being so annoying that like people just rather not deal with me anymore and just freaking delete me from the internet. But to answer your question, man, yeah, it's a self-diagnosis, and in the last week I've been actually trolling in a good way, not in a bad way, but like just joining and talking to people in a lot of Asperger online Facebook groups. I've been reading the literature and there, and it's weird because like I think a lot of it is your subjective experience with which no observer can know except for yourself, and a lot of it is objective experience because for example, my girlfriend will tell you with 100% certainty that I have bipolar, where I myself just feel normal. And yeah, I can see that some of my actions are depressed or manic, right? But she will tell you 100% that this behavior is not normal, and I can see the fluctuations. Where sometimes me, as the subject, I'm not fully aware that like I'm bouncing up and down or that my behavior is erratic. So that I would greatly love to go to a psychologist that is familiar with autism and do the battery of tests. For now, it's like more like I don't have the money or the resources or insurance. And if I did have some extra money, that money goes. I'll put it right into posture camp, man. I'm not looking for help really, but more for answers to help me better view things my entire life. And going forward, it's just kind of know where you might be weak. But in like I already like I don't believe in Western medicine at all. I think the whole field of psychiatry is bullshit. I think the DSM should be burned like Fahrenheit 451 because it just look, they call it ASD now, autism spectrum disorder, right? How can you live life calling everything a disease and a disorder that must be cured? How can you call something that happens to 5 to 10% of the population a disorder? Like I think a lot of these things that they call disorders are just characteristics that people have. And I think it's the rigidity of society that makes life hard for some people. Like, yeah, man, someone that's suffering from hardcore autism, like, you could say that's a disorder, but you can't just start off like looking for problems. That's what I'm finding at least in Western society. I think I don't know a lot about Asia or China, but what I do know is that they're a lot more open-minded as a society, in that like some of them like kind of revere crazy people in a weird way. That like, you know, if you're like crazy out there, people are like, oh man, I wish I could be like you with no care in the world and just do whatever the fuck you want. You know, they don't see these people as at least from what I know. I don't like, I study Western stuff more than I study Eastern stuff, but that's my take on it. Anyway, I don't know if I answered your question, but I gave you more than
No,
you
yeah,
asked for. Yeah.
I was just curious. Yeah,
Yeah.
about that. But no, it was great talking to you guys about this project. I think it has a very promising components. You know, and I'll do my best to help with the project as much as I can.
Awesome.
Yeah,
And so Kang, if I didn't mention this earlier, which I don't think, the role that we kind of want Kang to grow into in our company, you know, like we're all doing shit on the ground, right? So it's like, yeah, Peter's the CEO, but he's literally just like doing whatever needs to be done. Like literally, like if we're the janitor, we're literally like sweeping the floor right now. But Peter, he's gonna grow into the CEO role. I want to grow into more of a marketing role if I can, but I'll do whatever needs to be done right now. Kang, I would like to be the like the director of programming, or you know, you have the knowledge, right, and you're doing it every day. Whatever the role is, the function is to oversee our programs, and make sure we're not injuring anybody with the things that we want them to do, right? Because I don't have the classical knowledge. I never read the books, which I think eventually I will want to read the books, but like the last thing I want to do is tell someone to flip the tire if your opinion is, hey, that tire is going to like break their back. You know what I mean? So I need you to be there just to kind of, you know, be the adult in the room and make sure that we're doing everything safe and the right way. And with that, I would like to thank I forget that we have an audience, which right now we don't, but potentially in the future we might actually have someone listening to this. So for anyone that made it through the whole hour, you know, thank you for staying, you know, even with me not having a shirt. I think my whole thing is that, like, I think I want to let the content speak for itself. You know what I mean? I almost purposely want to break all the marketing rules. You know, I say shit and fuck. I don't wear a shirt. I'm a Gary V follower. If you guys know who Gary Vaynerchuk is, you know, Gary V, very successful entrepreneur, investor, among other things. But kind of just like he does him, you know, Gary V does him. So I'm a big, I don't want to say I follow him, you know, but not like religiously, but I learn a lot from Gary V. And with that, I would like to thank the audience for anyone that stuck with us all the way through. And we really appreciate anyone who's supporting us along the way. And what could we offer them? You know what? I will give anybody from me a free 1-hour personal training session just for having made it all the way through. I mean, that value is whatever you want to call it. It could be worth, you know, $100 or more or more. Okay, so I will, anybody that just comes, say, hey, I saw your show, I made it through the end, I want to claim that 1-hour free personal training. You got it, buddy. Any closing remarks?
No, that's it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. So.
All right. Well, I'm gonna roll the music. Hey, everyone, do something funny and stupid. We're dancing.
Thought I could be single forever till I met you.
From PostureCamp. All right, you guys are gonna see us soon on TV. LeBron James is gonna be telling you about PostureCamp soon. Bye, everyone.
All right, bye. Let's get it.